Developers call it Pacific on Tap, and they are celebrating its long-awaited 25-year opening. The $1 billion Carlsbad desalination plant is now online, producing 50 million gallons of fresh water every day.
This is really a historic day in California water.
The plant is the largest, most technically advanced plant of its kind in the United States, and according to the San Diego County Water Authority, will provide local residents with a dependable water source.
And it also will provide long-term water reliability regardless of how much snow we get in the northern Sierras or how much rain happens in Northern California.
Here's how it works. The plant draws in 100 million gallons of seawater each day. The water is filtered twice to remove things like algae, organic materials, and other microscopic impurities. From there, it goes through reverse osmosis, where the water passes through these 16,000 membranes, separating salt, minerals, and bacteria from clean drinking water. The salt, called brine, is diluted with more seawater and returned to the ocean. The remaining 50 million gallons of drinkable water is piped to a county treatment plant, added to the other water the county imports, and delivered to 400,000 people in San Diego County.
It's something that gives us insurance.
Most of California's water supply comes from the Colorado River and Northern California. Water produced here only makes up a fraction of the local supply. But Carlsbad Mayor Matt Hall says this plant is hugely important because it's drought-proof.
Just the fact that they know when they turn the tap on, they're going to have water, and they're not going to have to cut back in tough times. That was our goal in 1991, and that's our goal today.
The water produced here only makes up about 10% of all the water that's distributed in North County. It's then blended with other sources, so when it comes to your home, you shouldn't notice any difference in taste.
What residents will notice is its price. The average San Diego County user will pay an extra $5 per household per month.
Yes, some people have seen increases to their bills, but it's an expensive source of water. But again, it's reliable and drought-proof, so we think it's worth the cost.
Paying more upfront could pay off down the road. The Desal plant is owned and operated by Poseidon Water. The County Water Authority has agreed to purchase the water Poseidon produces here for the next 30 years. But when that contract ends, the county has the option to buy the plant for just $1.
This is a facility that's designed to operate for many decades into the future and meet a significant portion of San Diego County's water supply.
Helping to quench the thirst of North County residents for generations to come. Reporting in Carlsbad, Amy DuPont, KOCT, your community channel.
Oceanside Cultural Arts Foundation itself, as a nonprofit, has been in existence for over 25 years. It is the parent organization of Oceanside Music Festival. Another thing that our organization does is give out scholarships, because all of the proceeds from the events that we do, they go towards either performing arts or visual arts scholarships for graduating high school students throughout North County, not just in Oceanside.
In the size of your bundle, you want to arrange that you go broken, quiet, and peace. In a hideout provided by name, where there are no neighbors to squall.
We do, however, have this high mission, high cause of promoting arts and culture in Oceanside and its surrounding communities.
We're downtown Oceanside on Pierview Way, in front of the Oceanside Library. There's so many fine events and there's so much fine music around where people aren't getting to hear it because it's at the end of a high-priced ticket stub, or it's cloistered away in an auditorium where some folks don't feel generally welcome or comfortable. So this way we're bringing it to the streets. One of the reasons we brought the festival to the street is because we wanted to share it with everybody. We wanted the common people just walking around. They didn't buy a ticket. They didn't decide to dress up and go to a venue. They are actually being ambushed by this music. Some people didn't plan on attending. They're still going to be pulled in. And it's a very diverse music show.
I'm 3 times 7. So I'm almost 22. Cause it ain't nobody's business what we do. Ain't nobody's business.
My name is Marie Antoinette, and for those of you who don't know, I have been nominated, or what they call Grammy considered, for a Grammy next year at the 58th Grammy Awards in 5 different categories. The harp is just not a classical instrument. It is very diverse and is very versatile.
With the support of the community, who knows what else could happen. I see it continuing to be a community joining event, a community inspiring event where we're going to allow people to connect the dots and perhaps consider engaging in music more directly.
I'm homeless, and I have a tent, and I live out in the riverbed outside of town. Can't exactly tell you where. I stay alone. Well, I have a girl. We stay to ourselves.
Gloss is one of a growing number of people who live without shelter year-round in Oceanside. He's on track to get housing now, thanks to a relatively new partnership between the police department's homeless outreach team and neighborhood services division, which form Oceanside's alternative for dealing with homelessness.
I've reached out to the officers. They have a homeless outreach, and I was lucky enough to find out about it, and I came in and I spoke with them.
In the past, we would respond to this complaint of this transient issue within the city. Lots of people want us to deal with it. So essentially, we had one tool back then. Now we've added many tools to our tool belt to address the problem and to help these people.
What we try to do is get people, our homeless population, connected with whatever services that they're needing at that point in time.
Ferry said those services include ID cards, basic forms to further the process, and connections to Brother Benno's, Bread of Life, and other services. Harper and his partner were the only 2 officers to volunteer for the police department's homeless outreach team 9 months ago when the program began. The team was initially modeled after San Diego's program that works with populations who have mental illnesses, physical disabilities, and chemical addiction. But Oceanside's homeless outreach team faces a unique problem.
We certainly do have a lot of veterans. We have one of the largest populations of homeless veterans in the nation.
A homeless vet that both Lonnie and I knew basically felt there's others that were in more need than him. There's definitely a wide spectrum of people, of reasons they're homeless, and of different cultures for our homeless population, I think, throughout the nation.
Between 2014 and 2015, the number of unsheltered people rose nearly 50% to 159, and the number of sheltered homeless people dropped 18%, according to an annual count in January. Harper said he thinks that number fluctuates throughout the year and may even be higher now, with up to 300 homeless people living in the city.
At this time, there is a very low vacancy rate and very little housing available, and the result of that is that rents are rising rapidly. So lower income people are really having a challenging time finding units. In order to address this problem, the Housing Authority has set aside 30 vouchers for homeless veterans and chronically homeless individuals. We should not have people on our streets that are homeless, especially people with chronic medical illnesses and health issues. Then we also have a mandate from the federal government to do something about this.
Encampment sweeps, in which a task force comes through to remove people and their belongings, are routine matters for police and code enforcement. The task force makes weekly sweeps on public land and responds to code violations reported by residents. Residents say to look for people sleeping in public or in vehicles parked on the street, 2 actions that violate city code. Increasingly, similar laws have been challenged in courts as discriminatory measures against the poor. City Attorney John Mullen said the city has no intent to review its public and vehicle camping regulations because Oceanside's is more specific than ones drafted by other cities. Marshall said he takes the illegal route and stays outside because shelters and encampments in bushes have their problems.
I chose not to stay in the shelters. I just had kind of some unpleasant experiences. I preferred not to. It's pretty tough out here. You know, it's scary.
Salsa is a 501c3 nonprofit organization founded here in San Diego. Our mission is to enhance and enrich the lives of active duty and retired veterans through using social dancing, like salsa dancing, as a form of therapy for wounded, ill, and injured.
It's given me the character and a balance in my life to where I don't have to turn to drugs and alcohol to feel good anymore, just on a regular basis. Soul Juice Salsa has been part of the stability that I can maintain now. But it really started with dancing first, as having something in my life that can keep my head together and my soul together.
From my deployment to Iraq, it was very hard to interact with people, more specifically appreciate human life. And when my daughter was born, the typical feelings that a father has, I can't say that I fully expressed. Although I knew the significance of having those feelings, I couldn't really identify with them. I've seen my daughter since she was born a handful of times, and one of the few times that I've seen my daughter, I wanted to instill in her early on the benefits of dancing. So I played some salsa music and I held her in my arms and I danced with her, and then I sat her down and she tried to follow me on the back and forth steps, and it was absolutely adorable for her to dance with me and develop at that age. I mean, being two and a half, to be able to try to emulate me, it made me feel good as a parent. It made me feel like she wouldn't love me any less, she wouldn't love me anymore, and it's truly unconditional, especially at that age. And that's something that words can't express what that means, simply because it reminds me that I'm human.
This program is still a baby, but it has so much more power and so much more of a future all over the world. We're constantly growing with sites at VAs all over the world. And so this program has so much to offer, not only just through mental health, but reuniting families and vets with their wives and girlfriends. So it's something on base to keep them mentally there and keep them sound, give them a break from the outside world. I want all my dancers to flourish, to be able to come out with me and dance. And my ladies alone, they appreciate, because they say, I couldn't do this before. I was intimidated before, but you've brought something out in me that I'm able to share with everyone that I come in contact with.
To get involved in Soul Juice Salsa, it's open to any military veteran, active duty or retired or veteran. And most of our programs are run through either active duty hospitals or VA locations. So if you're a veteran, you can go into one of the local VAs where our programs are, talk to rec therapy, and get involved with the program that way. This thing is about to explode. We've got so many locations. There's so many veterans that can gain benefit. And when they hear other veterans' stories about how dancing has helped them reconnect with their local community or reconnect with the loved ones in their life, they want to be part of that. So we want to be able to offer that to anybody who needs it.
Soldiers who salsa!
What I enjoyed most was the variety of how we celebrated the book True Grit. With the printed word, we had copies of the books distributed to library patrons. Through the movies, the showings of both the 1968 film and the Coen brothers' more recent film, and through the lectures that came up that really opened up the experience of all that this book brought into it. So for those who like to read, those who like to watch films, and those who like to listen and then engage with a speaker, it was wonderful. I really have a much better appreciation of the writing process now that Mr. Portis used, and I have a much better appreciation for both films.
I'll wring your scrawny neck. Leave you alone. Now let that doctor and go get those horses saddled. Farrell, lend him a hand. You sit there, be still.
It's a book about character, about standing up for your beliefs, for being as strong as you can be. Jay Jennings gave me a tremendous insight into how much research was done for this book, and it showed me how much accuracy there is in the book.
What I took away from today's lecture was that there are deeper ways to read a book, and that's what I love about book clubs or going to lectures or whatever it is that will help me as a reader get off the surface of the written word and to really look for the deeper meanings, the deeper connections. And I just so enjoyed the lecture today because my attention was drawn to some of the writer's craft and how they used allusions in the first part of a book that really tied into what was going on with a particular character. It was lovely.
It's so inspiring to me to come to a place I've never been before and maybe wouldn't have come before and see this community of readers, people sharing their affection for the work, to see a beautiful library like this one, the physical building itself, which is magnificent. And everywhere I've gone, I've seen evidence of creativity and interest in communities of 500 and communities of 500,000. That's always inspiring for me to meet people who read and who love books and want to talk to me about them.
Every place where there's waves that happen and are created by nice ocean floors or a pier, you're going to find a bunch of surfers. So from the 30s, it became popular in Oceanside. California Surf Museum's been here in Oceanside since 1991. We're in our third location. We are a huge tourist attraction for Oceanside. We love putting the history of surfing out there to our visitors. We rotate our exhibits constantly, so each time people come to the museum, they're going to see a different display with a different theme. It could be about a person or a time in surfing history or a board style.
Oceanside surf culture is very strong, especially at the current time. Very understated in comparison to somewhere like San Clemente, which is kind of like everyone knows of as like Surf Town, and Huntington Beach is like Surf City, USA, and Oceanside has, if not better waves, just as equal of quality surf. The surf community is very strong. It's a very tight-knit community here. We're definitely in the industry of selling fun, which is awesome. Everyone comes in here in a good mood. You're not like working in a restaurant where people come in hungry and angry and just give me my food now and why is this messed up? Like people come in just stoked to look around and try on wetsuits and grab surfboards and feel how they feel under their arm, and and just excited to go surf for the weekend, and families will come in, getting ready for the beach, and all the kids are excited running around, and it's definitely a very positive and like uplifting atmosphere to work in. It's awesome. As a total newbie for surfing, just go to your local surf shop, and the best thing to do is just get out there and start surfing. It's not something you learn overnight. It takes a long time to master it, if ever.
So last year we had a little over 4 million visitors to the beach, and then about, I believe, 1 million or so in the actual water. We've had a huge influx in not just the amount of crowds during the summertime and stuff, but also during the wintertime. Obviously there is a large surfing community in Oceanside. We have quite a few different breaks that people, you know, the piers, the harbors, and all the little beach breaks in between and stuff. So there's always a lot of surfers in the water, especially, you know, there's a couple days every year when it gets really good here. I think it's important for people to, if they're gonna come down here and surf, one, at least know where you're gonna surf, know kind of the, you know, what's around there, things to be aware of. You know, the lifeguards are here. We're here every day. There's not always a lot of us here every day, but if you're new to this area or don't really know much about it, come, you know, and ask us. We want you guys to surf and enjoy your time out here. And then we operate heavily in the prevention area, so trying to keep people safe before they get in the water and stuff like that. So whether you're a surfer or a swimmer, if you're a visitor or a regular here, you know, the lifeguards, we want you guys to come down to the beach and have a safe time and enjoy yourselves. So, you know, check in with us. If you have questions, ask us. You know, that's what we're there for, to help you guys have a good day at the beach and stuff. So.
RW Surfboards started in 1963 with my father making surfboards, and it has expanded and grown from Huntington Beach, where he started, Hawaii, Encinitas, Carlsbad, and now here at Oceanside. I feel like Oceanside is a great place to be. It's a growing town. It reminds me of a lot of Huntington Beach before they developed the town and put the hotels and the resorts and the big surf shops and all that stuff in and made it Surf City. We have the better waves in Huntington, that's for sure. The surfing, we're just blessed to be born into a lifestyle like this. We're thankful to be here in Oceanside. The community has really accepted us with open arms. We want to be a part of the community. We're looking forward to the growth and the development, and to maybe help sustain the surfing values here in Oceanside.
The 101 Cafe was built originally in 1928 as a 20-seat little diner area, a small part of our building. It's still here, of course. And later on, about 1937, they added another room, and they changed it substantially in 1954. They added a overhang around the edge of it to make it look like the drive-in that was popular back in the 40s and 50s, and we've left it that way on the outside and the inside pretty much ever since then. The people that started the restaurant was a couple that started here in anticipation that the highway was being built right next to it, which is we now call Coast Highway, was originally called Hill Street and became Highway 101, US Highway 101. About 1925 they designated it, but they really didn't sign it until about 1928 when the restaurant started. It's been a part of the community for so long. For the longest time in front of us, we were the bus stop for the Greyhound buses going between Los Angeles and San Diego. We served millions and millions and millions of people over the years, so obviously we've become quite well known in our community. I've been here 27 years with my partner here in the restaurant, and we've had a lot of people come in and leave us in a lot of ways, transfer, move out of the area. California is noted for that. We have a lot of military that come in because of their previous military experiences here in the Korean War and the World War II. And Afghanistan and all the other wars, so we see a fair amount of people that are coming back, and we have a lot of tourists, of course, but we certainly have a steady clientele here locally. We consider our guests our celebrities, and we're happy to see them.
We get a lot of the locals, a lot of families, a lot of dogs on the patio. We're very pet friendly, and a lot of local surfers, and a lot of people come here for their lunch. You get personal service. Myself and the other servers, we treat you like family. and we serve a quality product, and we appreciate our guests, each and every one of them, and we try to know you by name, greet you by name. We remember what you'd like to order. We bring your drinks. Half the time you don't even have to tell us what you want. We remember. It gives it that special personalized touch. And it works both ways. The customers enjoy it and we enjoy it. It's fun.
You know, of course, it's always been a dream of mine that it'd go on forever and ever. The difficulty of keeping a business like ours open as long as it's been open, there are no other restaurants along Highway 101 on the West Coast that have lasted 87 years. There's very few restaurants anywhere that last more than 25 years. So it's been very, very difficult, and it's becoming more so because more and more of the younger people have no idea what a drive-in is or reflect on the history as much as the people that older folks would. And it's very tenuous now. Everything changes, and usually for the better, and we'll just have to see what happens in the future.
And we call ourselves the North Coastal New Horizons Band. The purpose of it is to provide an entry point for adults who either never got a chance to play a musical instrument when they grew up, or they played one as a child or a young adult and then have taken a hiatus for a while and want to get back into it. You know, different programs work differently, but ours has 3 distinct levels: beginning, intermediate, and advanced. You know, we're about the only place where adults can have a beginning experience unless it's a private lesson. So in a group setting, we have a beginning band, and we have people come who've never read music at all, or all they've done is listen to the radio. So first class is literally, this is how you open your case without dropping your instrument on the floor. This is how to put it together. This is what a note looks like, and how the whole thing works. And they progress surprisingly quickly.
Fun. It's absolutely fun, and you feel part of something bigger. You're surrounded, but you're part of it, and that's very cool.
We don't have any kind of audition process. It's open to anybody who's willing to learn. Fascinating to me is that they come from all walks of life. We have teachers, we have lawyers, we have doctors, we have CEO of a company, and I'm learning my B-flat scale with everyone else. It's just, we're more about fun and hey, let's do the best we can, but we are not perfectionists. We don't have chair tests. There's no ego in this group.
A friend told me about the New Horizons Band at the Museum of Making Music, and it's been so much fun. I started in a beginner band and taught me all kinds of good stuff, and now I'm in intermediate, and it's really fun.
I mean, I never dreamed I was going to be able to play an instrument for real before I died. And so it makes me think that maybe there's no other limits. If I decide I want to take on a challenge, maybe I can just do it. But to this, why not?